course.
Of course. Here we
Yeah.
are. Hey guys, it's Brock Bowen, also known as the Lifetarian, and I'm here with a beautiful friend of mine, Blair Hughes. And essentially, I'm going to be bringing you more of my friends on the YouTube, potentially some podcasts and things like that. But what I do want to do is share some excellent content with you from guys that are really building momentum in their life. Guys, the thing that really works for me in my life is I have these amazing people around me lifting me up every day. You know, I'm getting phone calls from people. I'm catching up with people. I'm doing movement with people. That's really building a lot of momentum in my life. And Blair's been a huge part of my life. It's probably fun. How did we meet again, Blair? It was a while ago, wasn't it?
Well, it must be like 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Yes, I think it was. When you were doing the markets there.
Mm-hmm.
And then we met through Col as well. Col is another holistic lifestyle coach and Czech practitioner.
Yeah, awesome guy. I love him.
Yeah.
And it's fun too. I love that with some friends. It's just easy to stay friends with. You always want to encourage one another. You always want to help each other in your business. You just got each other's back. And you've definitely been someone that's done that for me. And we also started going along to your yoga practice, which has been fun to see you develop in that. They're just super fun. And tell us a little bit about your daily practice for yourself. What does Blair do on a daily basis to build momentum, to keep clear, to really live the life of your dreams? What are you up to?
Well, one of the big shift I have had in the last 2 years is having my moving clients away from the early morning sessions and not starting until about 8 a.m. and getting my own practice in at 5:30, 6 o'clock. So currently what I do, I usually up pretty early. I'll not say what time, but I'm up pretty early and I do 42 minutes meditation. So a minute for a year. I'm 42 years old, so I do a minute a year. And then I always make sure I'm facing east, or at the worst, face north for my meditation. But before that, I actually make sure I clean my tongue and just do some yogic cleanses. Just before that, it only takes me 5 minutes. And then I sit and meditate for that period of time. And then I get up and then I head off to my teacher in Paddington, Aileen Hall. She's an Ashtanga teacher. I was told a lot of times that Ashtanga wasn't really the practice for my body, but it works for me. It's brought there's a lot of discipline with it, but it really works for me. I can really connect to my breathing so much better, and it just the day is different when I do it. Finish that approximately 7:30. Back and have a pretty good breakfast, and then start my day. Start working on programs I'm doing, or work with clients, or go and teach a yoga class, or whatever my day entails. That's how I pick it off. Basically, gets me moving, gives me momentum for the day. No question.
Yeah, it does. I always talk about that. In my theme, it's master your day, upgrade your life. And starting with that daily practice, getting up an hour early and doing something different. And we're all going to find it. My daily practice now is different to what it was 5 years ago. And similar to you, when I had that market business where you met me, I used to sell organic fruits and vegetables, guys, and that was my business. And now I reside in Cairns. And doing that, sometimes I was up at 3, 4 in the morning, straight into it. Crawl out of bed, bang, straight into the day. And it still worked. But now having that opportunity to read some powerful material and move my body and drink a lot of water really makes a difference. So what projects are you working on at the moment? Where can we find you in?
Just a quick one before I go. You talked about reading some powerful material and whatnot. My morning routine starts the night before. Just to go back on, just before I forget about that. Really, I always have a little meditation before I go to sleep, but I've always sort of taken note of what I'm going to be doing the next day. And so I have a little routine I go through, as I've used for many years actually. And it switches my mind off, winds me, let go of stuff maybe that's in my mind, and also just kind of mentally prepare a small visualization and feel the visualization, which is the key. The night before for what I'm going to be doing the next day, from even the time I see my clock, and I just usually waking up just before that. I've got a few different ways of doing that. But so my morning routine starts the night before, really being prepared, and that kind of seems to work for me doing that. But the projects I'm working on at the moment is
I'll explore that a little
a new
bit. You know where you're going with that? Like the morning practice starts the night before. How do you find that? Like once you've had the intention to wake up, say you often wake up at 4 a.m. Like
yeah.
And that's pretty stressful.
4:11 to be exact.
Right?
4:11 a.m. I get up normally in the morning.
4:11 a.m. So do you find that when you put your will or your intention on waking up at that time, that when you acknowledge that it actually works in other areas too? Like how did you decide to?
Very much, without a doubt, it puts the challenge thing I have at times is having a clear intention. But when I have a clear intention, everything else flows, and there's just a momentum from there. But the work I have with a lot of time is deciding and committing to that clear intention. But once I do, it just flows from there. So there's a lot of work going into like I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that, and letting go of the other stuff to focus on that intention. But when I do that, my day is different. So super powerful.
I know.
Yeah.
I know when I'm absolutely stoked for life. Like I know I've got mountain biking, or I do some Zoom movement in the morning, ZW, and I'm stoked. I wake up at 4 and I wake up before the alarm clock. And then some days when I don't really have anything scheduled, so easy to sleep in. It's interesting. That just, I guess, the area of commitment to something I'm going to be playing with as well, like that deciding to commit. How have you played with that? You've had an interesting journey the last 7 years, and now you're about 1,000,000% committed to your dreams.
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing it for like nearly 9 years. What I've been doing now, like teaching yoga and holistic health and stuff. But I definitely find, I call it like having a lot with clients is that I find compelling rituals, I call it. So something that's compelling and they're motivated to do it. It doesn't need to be yoga. It could be a run on the beach or swim. It could be whatever works for them. So that's really important that they're compelled to do it. It's not a chore to them. But I definitely have, like in the weekend or Sunday, quite often on a Sunday, it's not every Sunday, but I try and have a day through the week where I don't have any plan. I just get up. I'm naturally an early riser, so I naturally get up. But you don't have to get up. I find it's like sometimes I might just lie on, but I think it's important to have that a morning, or it could be 2 or 3 mornings, whatever way your lifestyle works, to have that no plan, that no structure, to let go of that and give myself space, because I definitely feel the benefit of that. That night, like on a Sunday night, on the afternoon, I'm starting to get excited about the week ahead. If I've missed not having that in the morning, builds sort of me up, and I'm desperate to get planning for the next. Not planning, I don't like using the word planning, but to get excited about what I'm going to be doing the next day. It starts off with how I'm being. That's what I do my little ritual at night, and then in the morning it really sets me up to be in a place to go and be motivated. Yeah.
I like that too, that distinction about scheduling, because I think when we go outside of the box of what everyone's doing on the planet, scheduling and routine, it's almost, for me, I know this is just me saying something, it's been a fear of mine. Most people have to wake up to the alarm clock, to go to a job that they hate, to do the same thing, to pay the bills, to get in the routine. And I think I went so far out of the box. Now it's been fun to actually use that. And I just scheduling the things I love. I go on a trip to Sydney and I book in as many things as possible. And even though I look busy, internally it feels slow. Internally I feel like, even though my life's building a lot of momentum, it does. Yeah, internally it feels slow. So how do you living in Sydney? This could be a challenge for some people. Living in Sydney,
Yeah.
There's noise everywhere. There's Facebook. There's distractions. There's
Yeah.
every internet marketer is telling you this is the next thing that's going to do stuff. Does that
The way it's an amazing topic. I love it. And I always say, the first thing I always say is you can't manage time, so forget time management. So I always go down, I prioritize. So I prioritize my time. So the most important thing for me is to be able to get up in the morning and meditation, and regardless of whatever's happening, it could be even just 5 minutes, but it's so important. So that sets up the night before. And I mean, I could talk on this subject for many if you wanted to, but you know, it starts off with as well making sure I had eat the right food the night before, and I always look to try and get at least 12 hours fast through the night. Try and eat before 7 p.m. And not too big a meal at that point. So because that's when basically we are regenerating the cells in the body, the mind's resting, the organs and that. So that my morning meditation and yoga practice is phenomenal if I follow that. If I don't, then I suffer the next day for it. So prioritizing is, you know, making sure I have these simple things in place and I follow through on them. So I just have priorities. And I'm passionate. I love my yoga practice. I love the meditation, even supposing I'm in my head thinking. Yeah. I just love sitting there and it just makes such a huge difference in my day. So I prioritise that. And then some days, the next day, sometimes I have prepared or planned to do something else, and it's not happening. So I let go of that, and I actually will change it. I'll actually run down. You know, I just get frustrated, and I'll just stay beside the beach here in Bondi. So I'll run down to Tamarama, jump in the water, come back. I'll get a bit of movement, and that gets me flowing. It gives me that emotional momentum just to get going and come back, and then I'm kind of energized again. Or give you a call, or someone that's motivating. It really, you know, you motivate. When I speak to you, we bounce off each other, and we get motivated, and we start to. Yeah, and life starts to flow. You know, sometimes it also, you know, it's just like I need a rest. And I'll maybe have a 20-minute nap. Sometimes that works a lot, especially sometimes in the afternoon. I can do that. But I've set my life up so I can do that. I'm not sitting at the corporate desk.
Yeah, you set your life up. One of the things that comes up for people, I want you to look like just to speak to this as well, is how do you let go of the guilt and give yourself permission to set your life up that way? And if you're working so hard on a project, run down the beach. A lot of people don't let themselves because they feel the guilt. It's almost like they see that as doing nothing.
Yeah.
Or a distraction, or that seems to be magic happens.
Yeah, I had a conversation. I have quite a few conversations about this, people. And I used to say this, not recently, but I used to say, you know, I used to feel guilty when I'd be going to a yoga class or going to do exercise. And a lot of people say, "You're joking, why? I feel guilty when I don't do it." And I'm like, well, maybe that's just because I value that and there's other things I avoid.
Yeah.
So I think it's just what our values are that it comes into it. But you're right, some people would feel guilty about going out there and doing, but for me, it really is about I need to be in a place to make it happen. If it's not flowing through me naturally, then it's sometimes I just need to sort of break it and change my environment or there's certain things I do and you know we have to do in life. We've got things we need to show up and be there. If I'm going to teach a yoga class and I'm feeling a bit tired, or I've got ways of just getting myself motivated and doing it. That doesn't happen very often because I love to teach, but there is times when it's like a bit sluggish, and I have ways of you know, connecting to other experiences past in my life before, which give me like that momentum just to go out there. And sometimes it's my best classes. I'm tired, so I can push through it. But it's not always the best way to do it when I'm trying to be creative, or if I'm doing some other things that are maybe not my strengths. Sometimes I have a little break from it, and then I can go back and it's much clearer in my mind, and it just starts to flow. So changing state, changing the environment. Yogananda has a great quote. He says, when it's a battle between you and your environment will always win. So you just look at the trees. It's like, you know, who you're hanging out with, where you're hanging out, what's, and, you know, there's lots of people I find doing similar things as well, and we just find a little tribe, and it's, it's very motivating, because your environment will determine. So, I choose to live beside the beach. I choose to live beside work. I work a lot from home because I do a lot of Skype coaching and so my business fits around my lifestyle rather than the other way around.
I love that. Business fits around my lifestyle. So
yeah.
Design your lifestyle for you, and then you've got more to give to your clients.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, you get me in peak state, and I'm like, I'm already passionate about, like evolution of human beings and how we evolve and what's stopping us doing that, and moving towards a place that we're really like fulfilled and compelled to move to, and all the things stopping that, guilt. Not good enough in some area. Quite often it always comes back to some not being good enough in some kind of an area, and that's just lack. So it's one of the big things is to really see that, to free that, which is key. Not to ignore it, but to see it and smile at it.
Yeah.
Okay, wow, this part of me here. So
I like it. You talked about Yogananda too, because I've read a little bit of his work, like Autobiography of a Yogi, and I've also experienced part of his vision. There's a place near Santa Monica in California, and he went around the world. He built these most phenomenal places. The energy of these, it's almost like a retreat, but California is pretty much a desert. And then you go to this place that Yogananda created 50 years ago or 80 years ago, whenever it was, and it's an oasis.
Yeah.
There's beautiful water features and all kinds of things, big lake. And somehow he had the vision to create that, and it still exists many years later, and people are still giving to it.
Yeah.
It's an interesting one, when we get to that area. I like momentum a lot at the moment too, but starting to use words, like vision and legacy and things like that, to be so close to our path. And that's it.
Just on that book, he wrote the book Autobiography of a Yogi. I've read the book, and I've found it quite challenging to read it. Actually, some of the way it's written in traditional, the way a lot of books are written. But it's a phenomenal book. But the audio as well. I've listened to the audio, so it's a great audio to listen to. And he talks about everything, about vegetarianism and about when it's ready to go there, and it's just, he covers it. It's about his life. And it's a great. So if you struggle to read the book, maybe a lot of people will have it on a shelf, possibly. Get the audio and listen to it in the audio. It's a great read in the audio. It's a great listen, sorry, in the audio. But definitely, like he like creating a space. He has. Sorry, just go back there. You talked about legacy and vision and stuff. For me, what I do currently, and the big shift I had not that long ago, really, and I've known all this work for many years, but it would be probably 2 years ago, as close as that, maybe even a year and a half. And it was realizing that, or accepting that I'm actually building a legacy. I'm not building the vision's part of that and the mission's part of that, but it's like I'm not there to become to get to a certain goal, and kind of it's a life. I'm building my life around what I do and how I live it, and sharing that. And it's a legacy, not in an egotistic way. It's just there's a stillness comes to me when I stand place. It's like when I step back and out of the warrior state, or the magician or the inner child, and step back into that deeper place where I observe. It's like, wow, it's like I feel that moving through me, and it's been a massive shift to realise that, you know, not the goals and the vision and the attachment to all that, to let go of it all. Still have it, but I'm not attached to it, and realise that there's something else there as well. And it's constantly evolving and moving. It's been very powerful for me, and you know, working with certain clients with this, it's been, you get it very quick. They understand it. I work a lot with archetypes as well, so with archetypes with people, so they can explain it, they can sense it. That's how I actually really learn. I don't learn really through the conventional way of schooling and stuff. But archetypes and certain shamanic techniques and not techniques, lineages, gives me massive shift. You know, like removing guilt and accepting and stuff. So yeah, it's a big subject.
Let's go into just one archetype. Let's just share with the guys now just one archetype that would benefit them if they were to resonate with that. Say let's get real specific on that actually. Say someone myself it's got a big vision and looking at what my legacy is. I'm at the moment at another shift point.
Yeah.
I'm noticing what's going on, paying attention to that. And say someone's at that point, they want to build more momentum in their life, and it's not afraid, but just knowing that knowing is not coming through clearly. And
it's awesome.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Just for me, it's been such a wonderful expression to be vulnerable through the different chapters of life, and to keep leaning into what I know and move towards that. But I'm just curious in that space of someone wanting to build momentum, not knowing how everything's going to show up, not knowing where the money's going to come from, not knowing where the people are going to come from, the resources, everything like that. What was one of the archetypes that might be a good one to share with people right now?
Yeah, it's a big subject because we're all different. We're all different things. I use like the just on a quick note, I have the warrior in the north and the king in the south, and then I have the magician in the west, or on the left, and then the inner child on the east. And they all need to be, and I look to see where within that I'm playing in life. Obviously, right in the heart, you want to be sort of there, and you can step into each one, and that comes through awareness. But really, if you're not taking any action, like if you're doing a lot of planning, you're doing a lot of procrastination. The planning could be the magician or the king, the back, or the procrastination would be the inner child, like, oh, I'm frightened. But so the warrior north, it's the tip of the ship, the bow of the ship. It's to really step in there and feel like Susan Jeffers says, feel the fear and do it anyway. So it's to step up into the warrior position and just like own it, just be there and just like do it. And obviously using that king, which is more the presence of the soul, really, you could call it, at the back. He's the switch is steering. But the warrior obviously gives you momentum. But you need them all, and we need to honour them all. But I actually believe my cueing in yoga. And then a down dog, I talk about the 4 angels. Came from Richard Freeman, top yogis. I use my archetypes there. I use it for everything. People really resonate with it because it takes the logic out, or access more the feeling, emotional side of the brain, the right brain, and you get momentum because you get emotional momentum at that point. You move from this logic, but some people work well with logic too. It just didn't work for me. But
they're all capacities and gifts. It's just finding what works for us, really.
Without a doubt, and that's why I find actually the archetype's been very good, very, very handy. I also say like the warrior in the north is the accelerator, so that's the accelerator, and the inner child over in the on the right side in the east is the brake. And we've quite often got the foot on the accelerator and the brake at the same time. So you've got to, let go and it's just a little analogy to explain it. Because I think we can resonate with that. But the warrior is definitely the one, and trying to let the brake off the inner child. for lack of a better term.
It's fun to have access to all of them. I think sometimes we go out in the world and we're good at one thing, and it could be something where it's a positive, we could be great at, we could be charismatic, we could have great leadership. But sometimes I think we almost hold on to those elements and this is greater that's available to us. And it's interesting just to see how to let go and play in different worlds. I like the archetype thing. What I'm curious about now, this is one of the things I think people are going to be burning to know too. So if you're listening to this right now, how many of you have trouble getting up early? Like when you hear Blair go, I get up at 4, or me up at 5, or these different things. Like it made a big shift to me when I'm actually willing to do that. But I reckon it'd be powerful to speak to that, Blair, because so many people, it's so hard. So many people, it's so difficult. The alarm goes off and they press the snooze button, and then the alarm goes off and they press the snooze button, and the alarm goes off and they press the snooze button, and then they have like 10 cups of coffee just to try and get through their day. So I think there's going to be also a few people that are there right now, that they're not really having the best time ever. They want to have a different life. They want to wake up early. They want to really excel. And it's still something for me. I'm not consistent in my getting up early, but I do it most days. But some days I just jump out of bed at 4 a.m.
So two things, definitely. There's the physical element of it, and then there's the mental element of it. So the first thing I always say is, if you're physically out of balance, so if you're really fatigued, if you've been eating a lot of stimulants and doing, things, and you haven't got to bed, or you've been watching telly, or you've been on the computer, and in saying that, some people work better at night as well on the computer. So I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just putting a few facts out here, or principles. I don't like saying using facts. The universal principles, which is like the sun comes up, the sun goes down. So they're just principles I'm going to talk about. If the physiology is out of balance, then you're going to be fatigued. You're going to be challenged to get up. So you've got to look at that before you even think about getting fancy with the mind and the techniques and all these different things, which can help. But the physiology is out of balance, then you're going to have challenges. You can override it. The mind will override it for a certain period of time, but then eventually the body will burn out. Something will pop up. So you need to honour the body, and then challenge the mind. But so that's step one. Is getting physically into balance best you can, and it takes time. There's some simple principles that we follow. I'm all about simplicity. Definitely. So that's the first thing. Make sure we try and get our body in balance. Try and reduce stimulants, certainly from after 2 p.m. in the afternoon. Cover before that. Don't have them after that. And at night time, trying to wind it down. And the second thing is, to get up in the morning, once you a little simple technique. It sounds out there, but it works. What for many people is just to sit at night time before you go to bed. You just close your eyes and then just I actually visualize little balloons coming out of my head, and I see I've got little scissors and just cut little ties. It just works for me, but it can be for anything. And you let go of this, and then I see my cells and all that, just quieting down and relax. But the last thing I always do is see my iPhone beside me. I put it on airplane mode when I sleep, and I've got a picture of that. And I actually have I'll show you. I have it's basically I'll show you that. So you can see what it says, sacred geometry.
Oh wow!
You can see that there. So it comes up, and it that can, that obviously works in your mind as well. But basically, seeing that, I've got a picture of that time, and I just say to myself, waking up at 4:11 at the end of an REM cycle before 4:11. So at the end of an REM cycle before 4:11.
Yeah, I like that.
And I just waking up, and it's 4:09. I'll click my phone. I don't like my alarm going off. I don't like the alarm to go off. I just click my phone. It's 4:09. Sometimes it's 4:03. Sometimes it's 3:59. But it's very often it's 4:11, 4:10. It's fascinating. But that is it's so out there. But it certainly works for me.
That's the best I love out there.
Sorry?
I love the out there stuff. Those things that people are not willing to look
Yeah,
at. The craziest idea
yeah,
changes the world, changes our
yeah.
life.
So definitely step one, physiology, keeping the stimulants to a minimum. And that's not only just stuff we put in, it's the outside. I believe the outside stimuli of life creates us to reach out for the stimulus to put in the body. So it's the outside stimuli. It's basically in the city, it's everywhere. Senses are overloaded. But that's definitely one way I work with. And then that simple, just quieting down, people, a little meditation, but at the end, just that visualization. And seeing it, and I see myself, I often just picture myself lying in bed on the phone, and I see the picture on the phone with that time, and then magic happens. As it say, if you don't believe in miracles, they won't happen, but if you do, they happen. Yeah, it's so simple, but you got to do it as well. And it's important before visualizations. Now, I did a lot of personal development many years ago, and we were doing a lot of the visualization stuff. And after working with some of the people I was doing it through, there was a bunch of us doing it. It's so important to actually go into the space before you visualize. I mean, yourself with all, with the bars and stuff that you do. It's like, it's all about getting, just starting to tune in. And there's different ways of doing that. And I mean, that's one, it's one of the things you're big on and you focus on. It's really to, it is an energetic shift or a feeling. You need to feel it to free it or release it. But it's all realms. We've got to look at the all realms. The physical, the emotional, the mental, and the spiritual to step off that hamster. We just keep trying to speed up in the hamster wheel and burn ourselves out.
Yeah.
But it takes time, and for me it's a continued place to go. But for getting up in the morning, that's the two key things. But you can even just play with the last one, play with the visualization, even forgetting the other one, just see what happens. But if that one stops working, generally, you'll probably be fatigued a little bit. The problem with the mind is it can override all the whole body. I mean, that's what wrecks us. That's what completely we end up with detention disease and whatnot. So, and then the person can do it.
I'm all about action, so I'm going to do it right now. So tomorrow morning, I wake up at the end of an REM cycle before 4 a.m. Done.
Yeah. Done. See the clock. It's good to visually see your alarm clock, whatever it is. It could be dark, and just see that, picture that. At the end of an REM cycle before 4 o'clock, and you might, you can even see 3:59 or something. But with your eyes closed, it's it's very, very basic. But see what happens.
Yeah, I'll test it out.
And also the next step would be like to see yourself how you're feeling when you're waking up. The fact that you're going to wake up at the end of an REM cycle, you're going to be wide awake. If you go to sleep after that and try and wait 20 minutes at the snooze button, you're going to be right in the middle of deep sleep, and it's going to be like jet lag the whole day. You're going to be reaching for coffee, sugar, stimulants. What's wrong with me? There's something wrong with me. Nothing wrong with you. You just woke up in the middle of sleep.
That for me right there is gold. Because I've heard people talking about the intention to wake up at a particular time, but that distinction at the end of an REM cycle, I've had a couple of days lately where it's been groggy waking up, and I'm normally just stoked. Like I just wake up and I'm stoked, and it hasn't been there, so it's just a good distinction for me as well. I'm sure a lot of people listening to this are going to resonate with that one and test it out.
Sure.
Probably getting towards the end of what we're going to go through today. I think that's enough content for people today, just to have that, implement those things, and we can always do some more later with Blair. If people want to know more about you, Blair, where can we find you?
Sorry, what was that?
If people would like to be in touch with you, where can we find you? What's the best way to get
I've got my just Blair, www.blairhughes.com. I'm in Sydney, but I do a lot of Skype coaching. All my questionnaires and all that are all online. So that's the best way. Or Blair at blairhughes.com. BLAIR HUGHES. com. That's a great way to get in touch with some of the programs that I do. Or, I just want to, if I promote yoga for people to go in it, that not everyone's beside me or can do my classes, but I just say, go and find, get off Facebook and go into Google and find the studio close to you. Start, trying yoga or trying, go to a gym or, just find something. The key thing is if you're already stressed in your body, you're already stressed and you're tired and feel like you're waking up fatigued, tired, using a lot of stimulants, then try to minimize your exercise. Go for a walk, do some swimming, make it a bit gentler because you're already stressed. Go and smash yourself in the gym, you can become more stressed. And just watch the weight fall off if you're just weight loss you're looking for. If you just relax a little bit and chill, it's kind of into that whole system. It's super powerful way to just let it melt off without doing anything. Sitting on the beach with your feet up, or sitting watching a book, reading a book, and it's melting off you. So it's So that's the best way to get me. BlairHughes.com. You can see the stuff on the program to do. A new program I'm busy working with it's on anxiety. So helping people get freedom from anxiety naturally, and it's really a big thing. I didn't realise how close it was to me and the shifts I've had from it, and working with a coach in life. We came up with this and said, wow, it's so motivating to see how you can help people get relief from that naturally, It
comes up with so many of my client sessions. It's huge for so many people, anxiety. Bringing people walk into a room and just people go and see psychologists. Psychologists look at just the behavior, but it can be in our physiology, it can be in our environment, it can be so many things, or picking up the thoughts, feelings, emotions of people around us. There's so many things and factors in anxiety. I'm sure you go through a lot of those things in it, but it's fascinating, right?
Yeah, and we're all different constitutions. We've all got different elements to us, and it's like no one thing. We're very unique, basically. Yeah. And but a lot of people seem to have some kind of anxiety. Even some big grounded men, the last thing you would think would have it. Today's world, they have it, and obviously women, it's very, very common. Yeah. And it's huge subject and very easily gotten relief from. Actually quite quickly you can get relief from it. But it's knowing what area to go at and working together, both being open, and it's quite phenomenal. The learning I'm getting from it, for myself and with other people, I'm very, very, it excites me. You talk about getting up in the morning, that it's like wow, to go and to learn more and to work on myself and other people. It's very exciting for me to get to get up in the morning and go and do it. And, so that's a program I'm busy. I've got going with some clients already, and
and if you have the chance to go along to one of Blair's yoga workshops, you can find that, or one of his yoga classes. Christy and I, that's one of our priorities when we fly to Sydney, is to get along and catch up with Blair, and we'll go and eat some food and talk like we are now. Just have these powerful conversations, but also to get along to his yoga class. We love it. Christy and I always talk about how much fun we have at Blair's yoga and all the insights and clarity we get from it. But it's just cool. So I really love you, man. I appreciate you being on the call today. I'm looking forward to seeing you real soon and catching up with you in Sydney in a couple of weeks. And keep living the dream, my man.
Yeah, thank you for catching up, and it's always good. I'll get back up to Cairns soon and then catch up with you guys. I'll just come down here, we'll catch up. Thank you, Brock, Mr. Lifetarian. Thank you.